Hey guys, my name is Mike Furino, and I just wanted to give you a nice tour of the beautiful Port Washington today. We'll go around, we'll see some of the cool attractions, and I hope you enjoy. This is one of my favorite places to come in town. You can kind of just drive up, you can have lunch, you can just take a walk. I just like to come down here, especially like in the evenings towards sunset time. You get a great sunset over the water, and if you have the time to do it, it's definitely a sight to see. So we moved here, moved here when I was in second grade. We didn't really know anybody here. We moved here because my dad worked in the city. It's a great commuters town, and it's the first stop when you're going to the city, and it's the last stop when you come back from the city. They have express trains, which is great. So in the morning, you're not sitting on a train for an hour, only about 35 minutes. Direct line into Penn Station, which is great. And then on the way home, same thing. There's like a ton of express trains, which get you back into town very quickly. It's a huge advantage if you're working in the city and then having to take a subway. Do get a lot of people over here that actually live in New York City and then come here for that reason, simply because the commute. They love the lifestyle, and this town kind of offers similar things that the city would offer. We're walking down Main Street right now. It's kind of like walking down like a huge city block. You're not getting the horns honking and all the noise, but you have all the local businesses. You kind of have a few of everything. So you have different Chinese food stores, you have different pizzerias, you have a movie theater, you've got banks, you've got all sorts of small restaurants, some on the water, some not on the water. You just kind of get like a real good range of everything. What's nice is it's kind of, there's something for everyone. So I think that's kind of a draw in New York City, and I think that's a reason why people are drawn to this town. It's a small town, but it kind of feels a little bit bigger than it is, just because it offers so much. We actually just closed on a house, 111 Mackey, a couple weeks ago. Family from Brooklyn, actually. One of my friends grew up with them, introduced me to them. They wanted to move into town into a certain, style and a certain type of home, in a larger home. They just realized once we started working together that, that would be a higher price point they could afford. But we have so many different price points in town which are suitable for so many different people. So we ended up finding something that's super close to town. If you want to, get to the train station in a few minutes, really accessible. And they're living in Brooklyn now. They just had a child, and this was a very convenient location for them. And they realized, maybe I can't afford that dream home today, but let me move somewhere where I'm going to be happy. I'm going to kind of get that same feeling of New York and Brooklyn and the boroughs, and then maybe one day we'll sell that home and maybe we'll upgrade to something larger. This is another great restaurant across the street, Furino Pools. They had a fire a few years ago. Unfortunately, they completely renovated the restaurant, and now they added an outdoor area, which is great. Super popular spot for like Thanksgiving Eve. People want to go out, they want to meet their friends. When we came home from college, this is like a great place to meet up with your friends that you haven't seen in so long. And everyone kind of joins up, and with the new interior and the backdoor space, the backyard space, I think it's like a great addition. This is also a spot that a lot of the Mets back in the 80s used to live in town, and this was their bar of choice. So a lot of cool history about the town. This is one of the parks that I was talking about. It's called Blumenfeld Family Park. They have a splash pad here. They have a cool little playground they just implemented. They have a theater inside there. They do tons of plays and comedy shows. So it's, again, just like a city type of feel, where if you wanted to go to like a small theater or a small play, they offer it. This is also where Parent Resource Center is. Tons of stuff going on for the kids. There are a lot of children in the town, which is nice. So they do try to offer like tons and tons of programs for the kids. So a few of the things that I really love about this town, I'd say one for me is the amount of different types of restaurants that there are. I love to eat, I love to be social, and I love to either meet friends, colleagues, potential clients or current clients, and there's just so many options here. So for me, that's like my number one. Number two, I would say access to water. Like if you love being on boats or jet skis or even just like eating by the water, you're basically surrounded by water. There's beaches here that you could join. Some of the different areas in town, if you do buy a house there, there's like small association fees. So if you pay X amount of dollars per year, you have access to small private beaches. Some of them have amenities. You can keep your kayak there or your paddleboard there, and some of them are just straight beaches where you could just kind of go down there with your family and have lunch. And I would say the third thing would be the ease to the city. So if you came from the city, you want to really still feel like you have access to it. You do have the ease of just kind of hopping on the train and a short train ride into New York, which is great. So whether you work there or you want to play there, the access is there, which is kind of cool. So I would say those are probably my top three things that I really love about the town. Yeah, so just to kind of tie in with what we were talking about before, there's just a ton of things and activities for kids and even adults to do in the town. One of the great facilities in town, you don't really get many spaces like this, unlimited sports action in Port Washington. Owner Al is here, he's been here 16 years, he's a local resident, and as well as my father kind of runs everything over here, which is kind of cool. So, a lot of people come to this place because their kids want to do camp, they want to do birthday parties, but you have access to all these types of things when you're in a town like this. It's pretty unique. You don't have many buildings in different areas that can have ceilings this high and spaces that are this wide open. It's a place where you can just drop the kids off for the day if you don't have a babysitter, or if you want to sign up for a full week. It's kind of cool. Drop them off stress-free. You know that they're safe, and again, just kind of ties into the community. This is one of my favorite spots, Town Dock. I have a lot of time in between appointments sometimes, nowhere to really go. It's a great spot. Sometimes just grab a slice of pizza or a sandwich, come down here, relax for a little while, make my phone calls, keep a pair of sneakers in my car if I have a half hour, take a nice walk. You obviously have great views here. I don't know if you could see it, but in the background you have water taxi. If you come down here, you don't really know the area, you pay them a couple of bucks and they'll kind of take you on a little bit of a tour around the bay, which is kind of cool. Great fishing town. You could either stay kind of right in this little 5 mile an hour zone, or you can shoot out into the sound, depending on what you're really fishing for. As you could see, people kind of come down here, they'll fish for the snapper in the summer. They'll just come down and kind of cast off the dock. You can call me anytime on my cell, 516-459-6246, or visit my website, michaelfurino.com.